Good morning, Zimbabwe and Africa at large. Today, I'm more concerned of our African continent at large rather than focus on my country of birth. Let's look at this. Let's look at how corruption has eroded the lives of the general public in Africa. Why am I saying this? 90% of the African populace are living in dire poverty, swimming in poverty, despite Africa being the richest continent on the planet. And the reason is simple. Our leaders, I can say 80% of our leaders, if not more, are one, greedy, so self-centered, and careless for the general public. I'll talk of 3 countries, but this is happening across the continent, except a few countries. A very good example is the shining Rwanda. That country, despite the genocide and the mass murder of 1 million people, the president of Rwanda, Paul Kagame, managed, one, to unite his people and make life better for his people. The Rwandese have got, I can say, the top living standards on the African continent as we speak. It's a little Switzerland in Africa. Hands up for you, Mr. Kagame. You might call him a dictator or whatever. Even if you call him a dictator, at least he is a dictator with vision, who has got his people at heart, like it or not. Right. Let's go to Kenya. There was this Kenya Anti-Corruption Commission, the KACC, that was established about a decade ago, if not more. And we thought, oh, Kenya was going in the right direction. Of course, the chairman or the president of that commission, that PLO Lumumba, I think most of you know him, wanted to fight corruption in that country. But those who established that organization didn't want him to fight corruption, but to pretend he was fighting corruption. That is why that commission was disbanded within a short period of time. Africa, if we don't fight corruption, our people will be a laughing stock of the world, like it or not. Remember, Kenya got its independence same year, I think it's 1963, with Singapore. And that time, the GDP of Kenya was up here and that of Singapore was down. But compare those 2 countries today. Singapore is hundreds of miles away and Kenya is down there. Why? Because Singapore wanted to fight corruption for real, and they did that. And their country is a shining example of the world. That's all I can say about Kenya. Let's go to my Zimbabwe. There is this ZAC, the Zimbabwe Anti-Corruption Commission. Oh my God. I don't even know where to start. That organization, to say they are fighting corruption, some have, have nicknamed it the catch and release scheme. You are arrested so that the people can think, oh, the government is doing very well. And 2 days you are in jail. The following, the third day you are out. It's a catch and release to try to blind the people that, oh, the government is working very hard. My African brothers, we are going nowhere with this kind of attitude. See how it is difficult to travel within Africa. You go from this country to that country, there are barriers. It's the norm on our African continent. Shame on us. Right, Zach, let's go to our neighboring South Africa. There is this anti-corruption task team, the ACTT. Do you think that organization is fighting corruption in South Africa? Hell no. There was loads of money found in the house, I think under the sofa of the current president of South Africa. Did he ever go to court? Hell no. Look at the lives of ordinary South Africans living in those mukukus and all the stuff and unemployment in that country. Hey, African leaders, you should be serious. Think of the blood that was shed fighting for African independence. Was it even worth fighting? Because if you look at it, life was much better under colonialism in some of the countries, or in most of the countries in Africa. If you compare the days of colonialism and the current situation of people. Hey, my African brothers, we need to pull up our socks. Are you happy if our people are the laughing stock? If our people are dying in the Sahara Desert, trying to cross over to North Africa, to the North African shores, and cross over the Mediterranean Sea to Europe? How many thousands have died in the Mediterranean Sea? Africans, young Africans and children in the Mediterranean Sea, trying to cross over to Europe, trying to cross over to the colonialists. Shame on you. If you were investing that money you are stealing from the resources of the people of your respective countries or of our beautiful continent, if you were reinvesting that money in Africa, every African will be employed today as we speak. Shame on you. Food for thought. The African Union, what are you discussing year in, year out when you meet in Addis Ababa? Are you discussing about the plight of African people? Or it's a jamboree of eating pancakes and spending money, sleeping in expensive hotels? Shame on you. Ask yourself this question when you meet in Addis Ababa. You are a disaster for the African continent, most of you. As I've said before, I started this video. Kudos to those presidents who are doing well for their countries. The likes of Paul Kagame, president of Botswana, Namibia, Seychelles, and Mauritius. I salute you. At least you are trying to do something for your countries. Look at the DRC, Dr. Congo, the richest country on the planet, but look at the poverty in that country. Are you happy to see your own people suffering? I'm leaving you with this question. Goodbye. May God bless Africa.